Hey everybody, Johnny Vivento here. So sorry for that. I really had a cough, honestly, and I got a best cup of coffee out of my life here. It is not Wawa. It is Maxwell House today. I usually have Folgers Gold. This is the old Maxwell House. It's not bad. I got it for Christmas from somebody, and I've been drinking it, and it's pretty good actually. The Maxwell House. And it's a Mexican premium Maxwell House, not the regular that we buy back home. Well, anyway, sorry about that. I did 60 minutes before, and I was telling you about about Sarasota Tim, an alternative to Sarasota Tim. One shout out I'd like to give, okay, on this thing, and I'd like to give it out. It's to people like Godcore Legend. He's pretty good. Also, Grifters Anonymous, pretty funny guy. Okay, I gotta tell you. I know he's anti-Sarasota Tim, but he's a pretty funny guy. I gotta honestly say that. I like watching his channel, even though he's saying stuff that I don't really agree with. But do I? He kind of knows more than I do about the subject. But I'm going to talk to you about the alternative to Sarasota Tim. A lot of people out there, they're pretty clever. Some of these YouTubers out there, they really are. They talk about Sarasota Tim's education. All the comments I'm reading is about his education. About he doesn't know what he's talking about. His education. He doesn't even have high school education apparently. But I'm going to tell you something now. I've done pretty well in life, overall, I guess. I've brought up 3 beautiful kids. Everything's gone quite well. I left school at 15 years old. Okay, 15 years old, I was out of school. And at 16, I left home. And I didn't want to live anymore at home with my parents. And I wanted to get out of there, Actually, because it was coming into a single parent situation. I decided I'm out of here at 16 years old. Oh, it's the best cup of coffee I've had in my life. It really is. Maxwell House. Oh man, it's good. Well, anyway, so I leave home anyway at 16 years old, and I started living with a work colleague and his wife. Okay, and I had a room there for a couple of years. And then I moved to Germany, and I didn't have any. My education was 15 years old, man. I didn't pass any exams. I hated school, so I ended up leaving. And so I left, and I ended up in Germany on the construction site. I worked there for 4 years, from the age of 18 to 22. Loved working on construction, really loved it. Of course, I learned a new language. I fluently, and it's like you go to another country, man, and I wanted to get out of my own country, the UK. I wanted to get the hell out of there, which I did. But I came back, and then I had to look for something else. What am I going to do? It took me a few years, and I ended up coming to the United States. After applying to Canada, and I was turned down 3 times, I came to the United States illegally. I came over, and my father had a green card, okay, and he sponsored me to become to get a green card, which I got. I was so lucky to get it, and it was an honor. It really was, and a couple of years later, I became a citizen. But I had no education, just like Sarasota Tim. I started with nothing, and I started learning. I started going to hotel school, okay, and I started working in a beautiful restaurant, like a first-class restaurant in New York. I became a sommelier, and I did it. I'm not saying I'm any great shakes. I don't have a master's degree or even a bachelor's degree or even an associate's degree, but I did it. And I did it, and I got the money together. I didn't spend my money unwisely, and you go on from there. You bring up children, and you pay for them. It's not cheap, and you go on with life, and you try and live a great life. We didn't go on many vacations, and at 62 I thought, I'm done. you know. And I did what Tim did. I got a lesser job without a lot of stress. I had my Social Security money. I was doing okay. My kids have all left home. And I thought, this is great, you know. I did it. It worked out, you know. And then I decided, I said, you know something? I'm going to leave the country. I'm going to Mexico, which I loved. I'd been to Mexico before, which I did. Came to Mexico and I bought a small house at that time. And I sold it. I have an apartment now. But the thing is, that's what I did. Now, I didn't need to have, I know people with no money, with zero, like a couple of $1,000s. They came here to Mexico and they made it. How do you make it? Well, you're 62 years old, okay? You're getting $1,700 a month and you don't want to work anymore. You don't want to do what Tim did, or what I did. I work full time. Tim only worked part time. But you leave at 62 years old. And you decide you're coming to Mexico. The thing is, you've got to take the plunge. You've got to think, can I do this? Okay, let's say you're living in a rented accommodation, which of course is very expensive wherever you live in the US. Everything's expensive. You got all these massive bills. You get tempted to, you walk in a Walmart, you want to buy something, and I use my credit card. People are using their credit cards non-stop, okay? Another thing, talking about supermarkets and Walmart, everybody's against Sarasota Tim, okay? You got all these detractors. He actually goes in, and he's a consumer. He buys a lot of stuff. Nowadays, and I'm talking about Denver, Colorado, I'm talking about Kansas City, talking about LA, Oakland, California, New York, Chicago, everywhere. People are walking in the stores and stealing whatever they can, and the cops are not being able to stop them. The security can't stop these people. At least Tim is a good American. He pays for everything. He's a consumer, as I am. Okay, so just to let you know, that's one point. Anyway, everything in the United States is very, very expensive, right? And you think, well, I want to relieve the stress. I'm getting $1,700 a month. I want to relieve the stress. How do I do it? Well, come to Mexico. Okay, you're not far from the border. I'm about 2.5 hours from Denver by plane. I'm like 2 hours from San Diego. Is it 2 hours? I think it is. No, it's less. It's about an hour and a half from San Diego. It's about an hour and a half from Tucson, Arizona. If you go the other way, Albuquerque and whatever, New York, 6 hours I think it is. But what I'm trying to get at is that anybody can do what I did. Okay, let's say I don't have any money. Okay, I have a few grand, what Tim had. You can come to this country, to Mexico. You can come across the border. You get your passport stamped for 6 months. You're a tourist. If there's two of you, you can probably meet the financial requirements to become a temporary citizen. I'm not sure exactly what that is right now. I think it's like $3,000 a month, I believe. Okay, and you can, or 3,200, I think it is, in the new wave. I think this year. So I think you can do it. Okay, you can do it, and then you have to have a certain amount in the bank. I said 20 grand, something like, to get the residency. You don't have to do that. I know a lot of people who live here, they do not have anything. Because if you're a tourist, you can come as a tourist for 6 months, right? You can just go home, you go across the border and come back again. You can take a plane to Tijuana, walk across the bridge and do a U-turn. I've done it. I've actually walked from Tijuana to San Diego, and I've done the U-turn and I come back. Okay, I've done it a couple of times. I'm a resident now, but I wasn't a resident before, and I had to do something. I had to leave the country. I didn't want to go back to Denver or anywhere. I thought, I'll go to Tijuana, which I love Tijuana. It's a great city on the border with San Diego. It's almost adjoined to San Diego. It's wonderful. Anyway, so you can do it that way. You can actually go across the border, come back. So that means you've got a year now. And you can sign a lease for 1 year. Most apartments, 6 months or a year. Okay? Now, I've just seen an apartment being rented in my actually not, it's actually my next complex. Okay, there's an apartment going there. It just got rented out. There's 3 others there. 4 fully furnished. Okay, these are fully furnished apartments. Don't forget the dollar now is 20, I think it's 20 pesos to a dollar right now, which is great, you know. So they rent this place out fully furnished for 1,200 pesos a month. So, oh man, I'm wrong. 12,000 pesos a month, which is $600. It includes water, it includes the internet, and it's fully furnished. Okay, the only thing you have to pay for is electricity. Okay, now electricity here is very, very reasonable compared to the United States. I would estimate it's a third of what I used to pay. Well, actually, no, it's about a third. I mean, I've had my air conditioners on a lot during the summer. It was a crazy hot summer. And I was paying something like $60, $65 a month, okay, for the whole electric for the whole place. Includes everything, which is pretty good. Let's be honest, you got the air conditioners going on, especially overnight. Even though we're only in 1 bedroom, we have a 2 bedroom, but we're using 1. My daughter comes, okay, that's another one, but that's how much, you know, on average we're spending. Everyone, there's a lot of videos out there of people saying how cheap it is in Mexico. Oh, it's not that cheap. Nowhere in the world is cheap anymore, okay? Nowhere in the world is cheap. But anyway, come here. You're in Mexico now. You just bought your ticket. If it's 2 of you, you and your wife, or you yourself as a single man, and you've come here, you come out of the airport, you get an Airbnb, $40 a night, until you find an apartment. You'll find one in 1 day. Puerto Vallarta, this area anyway, is growing. You can go to Mazatlan or you can go to Colima a little further south. You can go over to Merida if you want. It's fine. Every city is almost the same in Mexico, but in prices. So let's say you come to Puerto Vallarta and you come out the airport, you're here, you get an Airbnb, you're looking for an apartment, just walk around the square mileage, which is downtown area, which is like 4 square miles, you will find an apartment. I guarantee you will. And it will be between, I don't know, $450 to about $600. You'll find somewhere. Absolutely no problem. Now, you've got $1,700, right? Let's say your let's say your whole accommodation is $700. Which it won't be that much, but let's say it's $700, okay? You still got $1,000 a month, okay? That's $250 a week. You're going to do very well on that, okay? That's 5,000 pesos. You should do very well on that. You can go to the beach every day. There's one thing about the beach here, it's free, okay? As every beach in the world is, it's free. You have to, so you can walk or get on your bicycle and go to the beach every day and sit there. You've got the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, best ocean in the world, okay? And you have it, it's there, and it's free. And you might want to say, well, as I told you, you know, you should go and buy your own water at the local 7-Eleven or whatever and bring it to the beach, ice cold, that's fine. Don't buy it on the beach. It's about double price-wise. But the thing is, you have to improvise what you have. You know, you have to really, really budget lots of stuff, okay? You don't have to sit on the sidewalk. I used to actually go and buy my coffee. I used to make my own coffee, and I used to go by Starbucks. I could sit there outside as a bench and have my coffee downtown Puerto Vallarta. Everyone else is in Starbucks, spending absorbent, you know, crazy prices in Starbucks. And I decided I can't do that every day because I'm retired, right? So you want to save where you can. I'm not saying I did it every time. If I'm with the wife, we go into Starbucks or whatever. But I'm just saying that sometimes you have to cut down on things when you're retired. You can't just, unless you have a big pension, a big work pension. I do have a small one. It's a small one. But a lot of people don't have that. They don't have that luxury. But the thing is that you're always going to be okay with your Social Security money in Mexico. If there's any problems, you can hop across the border. If you have a medical issue or whatever, but in Mexico, medical issues are cheap compared to the United States. Even though you might have Medicaid or Medicare or whatever, it's still, if you don't have that, you can still do it. You can come here. Believe me, if you're in reasonable health, you're going to be okay. All right? And I've been to the doctor one time since I've been here. I got to admit, I have. I've been to the doctor one time. I was in the gym and I hurt my right forearm real bad. And I went to the doctor and he gave me some some medicine for this. Actually, it's an antibiotic he gave me. Because he said, oh man, you got this and that and that. He gave me a shot. He didn't give me an antibiotic, he gave me a shot. It was something steroidal, okay, for my forearm. And he didn't charge me for the consultation. As long as you buy the medication, you don't pay for the actual advice. You can give the doctor a tip here, incredibly, which I did. So you have to improvise, you have to think, you have to budget well, okay? And then you can live here and you can retire. And you can live a life where you're not in an RV and chasing around the country. You're just in Puerto Vallarta, walking distance to the beach. I live actually about 3 miles from the beach. I'm not within walking distance. I don't want to be. I like to be a little secluded where I am. A lot of people want to be close to the beach. So you can live within a mile of the beach anywhere in Puerto Vallarta for the prices I'm telling you. Okay? And you have all the big stores here. You have Costco, you have Sam's Club, Walmart. They're all here. Okay? And it's just a great place. And it's just an alternative to what Sarasota Tim has done. I mean, I don't think Sarasota Tim would fit in the Mexican style. I don't think so. He's too American. He's too, what can I say? He's too stuck in his ways. He's got like a Florida attitude. And Florida's a beautiful place. It's just as beautiful as here. But it's like double, actually, what I'm talking about, quadruple expensive as this place is, So I'm just giving you that alternative. That's how you can do it. And you can come here and you can live. And you can give it a year and see if you like it. And if you like it like I did, I stayed. Okay? I'm actually going back to Denver in a couple of weeks' time to work. So I want to work for a year or two. Because, I want to buy some things. I want to, get my memorabilia in order, which I have a lot of memorabilia and stuff and stuff in my storage that I want to sell. So I'm going back to work. And I need it to keep fit. I need to go back to work to get my mind straight. A lot of people like me, I've been retired, as I say. I'm not right. I have to get back. I have to get my mind back. I'm like perfect, but I'm like, wow, I just feel like I can work for another couple of years. If you feel that way, do it. But I still, as I say, get my Social Security. Everything's cool. Anyway, so you come here. You're in Puerto Vallarta. Just live a nice life. It is not difficult to do. You just need to take the plunge. A lot of people have done it. I know people who live on less than $1,700 a month here. Americans. And they're doing okay. They have an apartment that costs them $500 a month, fully furnished, all the utilities, and they're living on, I don't know, $700-800 a month, and they're doing it easily. Single people. So I'm just saying you can do it. There's like 2 million Americans in Mexico. In this area, there are like 50,000. Okay, going from Puerto Vallarta, New Vallarta, Bucerías, Sayulita, around the whole area. It's about, I think it's about 50,000 Americans living here. And they all, some of them really don't have 2 pesos to rub together, but they're living here and they live a good life. That's what I have to say. So you don't need money to come here. You really can retire here. And don't believe what you read in the internet. Oh, you can live on $1,000 a month. It's not easy. They make it sound like it's easy, and it isn't. You can, as I say, 12 to 1,500, 1,700. Yeah, you can do it. You can live quite comfortably, but you have to live within your means. Okay, you can't go out for dinner every night, or whatever. It doesn't work that way. Depends what you want to. It depends what you're used to. The weather here is sunny, 365 days a year. It rains, it has a rainy season, it rains at night for like 3 or 4 months. Every single night it will rain for 3 or 4 months, okay? But it's nice and refreshing. It cleans everything up, you know, it really does. So that's a, a minus, but it's also kind of a plus. As I say, everything is furnished, okay? When you get an apartment here, most places completely furnished. You have to worry about that. You have to worry about when you leave. You have to just, no, just keep the place in good order. They will make you sign a lease 6 months to a year. Medically, if you have a problem, there's a lot of Americans here who will help you, will show you the ropes, okay? But if you have a condition, I wouldn't recommend coming, okay? Also, another thing is you can actually go for a checkup here. I did a full checkup last year with blood work, and it cost me $125, okay, for the whole thing. Anybody can do it. You can just walk in and you can get a checkup, you know, at certain places. The one I did, it was downtown in Puerto Vallarta. Absolutely no problem at all. It's a big line, but you just get in there and you make an appointment, and then you have to come back in a couple. They tell you when to come back. You come back, you pull a ticket, and you have all your blood work done, which I had, and it came out okay. They test you for diabetes, that kind of stuff. If you want to do that for $125, everybody I know has done it, and it's worth it. What else? And you know, we have nice malls here where you can walk around. Things are kind of cheaper than they are in the States, you know, or in Europe, as I say, in Canada. But the beach is the key. You know, if you want to retire, you say, oh, I'm going to lay on the beach. Well, you can lay on a beach here and it won't cost you anything. Believe me, if you have an apartment, a beach, and that's what you want to do, you want to go to the beach, okay, fair enough, you go. You have your little food, whatever, it'll cost you not too much at all. The beach is free. I always tell everyone that the beach is free. You can walk everywhere. Hopefully you can walk. Ubers are real cheap. Okay, they really are. And Ubers are really cheap here. That's one thing that's great about Mexico. Taxis, but Ubers are the best. You know, you get an Uber, you can never go wrong. There's actually never a fare more than $10 anywhere, you know. That's if you want to go like south of the city or whatever. But what I'm saying is that you can live a good life here. This is an alternative of what you can do than actually stay in the United States and do what Sarasota Tims would work. And this is without work, okay? So you retire, you come here to Mexico, come across the border. As long as you don't get into any trouble, you will be fine here. There is no trouble here. Puerto Vallarta is a very, very safe city. That's why I recommend people come to Puerto Vallarta. It's just so safe here. The main reason, we have the Mexican Marines here in big numbers in Puerto Vallarta. They're everywhere. And they're here and they're patrolling streets and they're doing a really, really good job. And there's very, very little crime. You hardly ever hear about it. And there's some, every city there's crime. But here there's not much at all. So it's a very safe city. It's good for kids as well. But anyway, I hope I've given you a little insight. If you'd like to make some comments, I will do another video and I'll answer those comments. Whatever comments you give to me, I will answer them. I do know what I'm talking about in this situation because I've been through it myself, and I've actually know people who have had less than I have, let's say, live life and live well. So it is an alternative, and I can do some videos downtown where I show you what it's like. Well, actually, you can go online on YouTube and see the videos of Puerto Vallarta. And there's a lot of videos on there that will tell you that it's $1,000 a month that you can, you know, if you're frugal, you can. If you're not so frugal, $1,700 is a good number. But Anyway, great seeing you, and I'm really happy that I came on and did this. Sorry about the cough earlier. I don't know what's wrong, man. I've had this cough now for like a month. It's nothing bad. It's like a flu, and it happened. You know, it's just the way it is. And I've never been sick here, and I feel great. I've never actually felt sick, but I was in bed for a couple of days, just to be on the safe side. But thank you so much, and love you all, and hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you subscribe and press the like button and leave a comment. I promise I'll answer all the questions in the next video. Thank you. Bye.